Good afternoon na pod sa inyohang mga beloved students of Cebu Normal University, especially sa ato ang sa inyohang mga students nako din sa evolutionary biology. So we are now on the last topic sa ato ang semester, which is on the application of evolution. So this is topic number 6. So this is the third nga topic for the final term, and at the same time this is the last topic for the entire semester. So dali ra kayang panahon. But anyway, I hope I have already covered the basics of evolution, though there are still tons and tons of knowledge that you can have or you can get sa evolutionary biology. So I will encourage you nga not to stop din lang sa ato ang discussion, but to widen your readings, widen your knowledge aron mas makasabot pa mo sa different aspects sa evolutionary biology. So evolution, so when you say evolution, this is one of the unifying themes in biology. So it is the preferred theory over other theories in terms of the origin of life. So we have discussed so far the mechanisms, how or what are the reasons why organisms evolve. Okay, so kana siya. So we have discussed the different angles nga gina-consider sa evolution. And at the same time, we have also discussed some of the objections nga gi-raise against the evolutionary theory. Okay? So kana siya. So mo na nga sa science, take note nga there is this what we call kanibitang gitawag nato og falsifiability. Okay? So dapat imuhan ng imuhang i-subject ang imuhang theory to scrutiny and criticism. Okay? Because according to Karl Popper, he is a science philosopher, nga if ang imuhang theory is dili na nimo ipa-subject to scrutiny, and then dili siya ma-question, then you have lost the essence of science, because diba science is for the truth, and we can only learn the truth if ato ana siyang i-refine og maayo. Okay? Mabitaw na nga in science, what is true today may not be true tomorrow. Okay? Because mao na nga, even though ang truth is absolute, diba, it will not be affected with space and time, ang truth, but our perception of that truth changes from different times, diba? So kana siya. So mao na nga, we have to question the different theories, the different aspects in biology, in science, or any other nga field. Okay? Kana siya. Kay aron mas makita pag yun nato kung unsa ta kaduol sa truth. Okay? So we all have to search for the truth, and that's what science is all about. And take note also that science is not the only, again, science is not the only way to finding the truth. Science is just one of the tools. Okay, science is just one of the tools, and that's where we should come in. Okay, so much for that. So as I have mentioned ganiha, nga tong topic number 6 is all about the application of evolution. So I guess you already have an idea on my stance sa evolution. Okay, so evolution in its entirety, say for example gradual process, kana siya, I'm also at doubt, okay, regarding sa gradual nga changes because of the mato katong gi-raise nga objection. Okay, but when you talk about the speciation, di ba, kanang speciation nga mahitabo, adaptation, gana, I actually believe in those things because that can be observed. But in terms sa gradual nga development from simple to complex, kana I doubt the validity of that portion of the evolutionary biology. So if you want to know more about these objections, then I am more than willing to discuss it with you. Okay, so kana siya. So kani din hita sa application of evolution. Actually, personally, evolution is a wonderful theory. Okay, wonderful theory. So mo to akong gi-mention a while ago nga all theories must be subjected for criticism and then questioning, so that ang katong dili mao tangtangon, okay, and then ilisan sa more sensible and more logical nga explanation of the phenomena, particularly the origin of life. Okay, so I think we now have to um, start. Can I say? Okay, so can siya application. So when you talk about the application, so um, there are different applications nga nag-origin siya or founded in the evolutionary biology nga principles. So though the theory of evolution have mounting controversies, especially in explanatory capacity in explaining the origin of life, others think that the said theory have a significant application. So this topic we'll discuss some of these applications, particularly in sa research trends and other impacts to society. Okay? So actually, mubo na lang ni siya because this is more on the application. So according to them, nga na siya medical application. Okay? So note that in evolution, species are formed based on the conditions of their environment. Okay, so 'di ba ang atong gi-mention nga katong survival of the fittest or katong sa natural selection. Okay, so the adaptation of an organism is vital to its survival. Okay, and it depends on a particular or what type of environment that species is situated. 'Di ba? So kung init kaayo, di pang init pod ang kanang gitawag natong adaptation nga mga processes. Kung bugnaw kaayo, then pang bugnaw pod ang mga adaptation ng processes. So, meaning to say, ang adaptation must fit with the natural or must meet the demands of the environment so that the organism is ensured of survival. So, if the kanang gitawag natong environment changes, so ang adaptive nga process is expected to change. Okay? So, changes among species can happen even at the individual levels, and giving enormous amount of time, these changes can become distinct that it leads to the formation of new species. So that's speciation. So I would just like to add in here, leads to a given enormous amount of time. So this is referring to the deep time nga principle, but we have already discussed that speciation can actually happen in shorter periods of time. Okay, so further, the theory of evolution deemed that an organism's genetic resource, genetic resource or the expression of genes coupled with environmental parameters determine the survivability of an organism, and genetic defects which results to diseases and even death can cause the elimination of undesirable characters. So whether we like it or not, speciation is a result also of genetic mutation. Okay, especially kung massive na kayo nga amount of characters ang gi-develop sa usa ka organisms. So in most cases, okay, so take note that there are 3 types of mutation. I think this was discussed in topic number 3. Ang first na is ang neutral mutation, followed by the harmful, and the third one is the beneficial. So gamay lang yung kaayo ang percentage sa beneficial. Majority of the mutation is neutral, meaning to say it does not have any effect or impact sa usa ka organism, followed by the harmful, and then the beneficial. So according to some evolutionists, nga only those that have beneficial mutation ang must survive or mo thrive sa usa ka environment. So naa kunoy mechanism ang nature to get rid of the harmful mutation. So that's according to them. Okay? And per evolutionary principle, the weak are eliminated and the stronger ones survive. So mani akong gi-mention just a minute ago, nga nature, according to evolutionists, they believe that nature has this capacity to get rid of those harmful mutation. So mao na nga di ba, we can see different mutants. Okay? So unlike sa kanang movies, nga kanang mga mutants is na mga power, but in reality kaning mga mutants are suffering deformities, suffering mental retardation, kana siya, and the survival rate is lower compared to those that are non-mutants. So thus in evolution, diseases and death are part of the evolutionary and natural processes that can affect all organisms. So kana siya. So getting rid, mao na nga, di ba, katong survival of the fittest. So if you are sickly, then you get eliminated. If you are old or very young, cannot defend yourself, then you get eliminated. So only those that are strong will survive. So, di ba? Mao na ang natural selection. So, on the other side, some people believe that the Darwinian evolution can also be seen working in the medical field. It viewed medical techniques to oppose and slow down the impacts of evolution. It viewed the human body as a machine, that it was shaped through naturalistic means, and health professionals should understand how this machine is built and how it degenerates for proper prognosis and diagnosis. Medical product development such as vaccine is claimed to be better understood via the evolutionary process. So, mao po na ilaha. Okay, so machine man daw ang human body. Okay, so naa siya'y mechanistic nga principle. So, if you understand evolution, so you would understand that these diseases are part of the evolutionary process. And if you are into medicine and then into evolution, you have to, ang imuhang built-in nga philosophy is that you have to slow down the effects of evolution. Okay, mauna nga aging is part of evolution according to evolutionists niya, part of evolution, and then so you have to slow down. Okay, you have to slow down the aging process. Mauna nga mga rejuvenating creams, unsa pa mga botox, okay, unsa pa na kanang mga medicine kana siya, because some people believe nga makalengthen ni saya if imong slow down ang evolutionary process. What else kanang gitawag nato og mga cure, di ba? So cure is part of nature, part man gyud siya sa kanang cure kanang mga diseases. Others ang kanang mga gitawag nato og mutation, di ba? So food preference and appetite can result to food-related diseases such as diabetes and obesity. Immunological responses, a result of the body's evolutionary mechanism to preserve an organism. Antibiotic resistance, so kana siya. So, ang immunity daw, okay? So, part na siya sa evolution. This is now the viewing in an evolutionary point of view, ha. So, as ako ang gi-mention ganiha is I am critical of the evolutionary theory to explain the origin of life. Pero in terms sa adaptation, di ba, kay na may two types of evolution, micro and macro. So micro, mo speciate siya at the genus and the species level. So kana siya, pwede na siya, I can actually accept that one. Pero in terms sa nga jumping na, di ba, katong satura non-facet saltos, okay? So natura non-facet saltos, so nature doesn't make jumps, so kato siya. So as a result, the body's evolution may preserve an organism katong development adaptation, di ba? So which is actually true. Our body has the capacity to produce immune response to particular diseases, just like sa kaning gitong pandemic. So moingon sila nga dili sila magpa-inject kay unsa man, our body daw has this ability to make our own antibodies, which is actually correct. Okay? Ang atoa lang, ang kaning gitawag natong vaccines is to, hasten, to speed up the development of this immunity. So, ilaha po na katong mga anti-vax. So, ilaha po na sila. So, what else? Antibiotic resistance, di ba? We have discussed this one sa to ang microbiology. Okay, so mo develop of antibiotic resistance. So, antibiotic resistance is the adaptive mechanism or process of bacteria for them to survive the effects of antibiotics. Kana siya. So, mao na nga di ta magpasagad og or pataka og inom og antibiotic without any prescription. Okay, so is also viewed as product of evolution katong gitawag ng antibiotic resistance. Okay, so that's for medicine. Okay, what about the research trends? Perhaps one of the main areas for research that has evolutionary implications are biodiversity, taxonomy, and conservation studies. So that is actually correct. Okay, so pananglitan if you are fond of doing biodiversity. So pangitaon nimo, say for example, you go into butterflies. So pangitaon nimo kaning nga species ng butterflies, unsa man iyahang nearest nga species or nearest nga mga related nga mga genus or kana nga mga related nga taxa. Okay? So kana siya. So mao na ang pinaka obvious sa tanan. Biodiversity, taxonomy, and conservation studies. Okay. So one of the interesting say for example kaning Philippine eagle, di ba, kaning Pithecofaga giffardii. Okay? So according to the genetic nga studies, conservation studies na siya, genetic conservation genetics, that Pithecofaga jeffreyi, the Philippine eagle, do not match any lineage sa eagles dinhi sa Asia or even sa world. Okay, so unique ang iyang genetic lineage. Okay, mao na nga lahi ang Philippine eagle compared to the other eagles dinhi sa Pilipinas. Okay, so di ba kay nampo tay Philippine hawk eagle. Kanang Philippine hawk eagle, if you compare it with the Philippine eagle, it is a look-alike sa Philippine eagle, brown, and then naay murag mane. Okay, and then mas smaller lang, but genetically they are different. Kana siya. So what else? Ang kaning gitawag natong cobra. Okay, so ang sa cobras that can be found in the Philippines na ay two genera. Okay, so two genera, you have the Naha, Naja, mo na siya, and then the Ophiophagus. Okay, the Ophiophagus, so mao po na ang another genus. So they are cobras, pero ang kanang gitawag na to og the Ophiophagus, they are not true cobras. That's their genes or the genetic lineage is different from that of Naha. Okay, so mao na nga sa Pilipinas na kay Ophiophagus hana, that's the Philippine king cobra. Okay, and then the Naha pod, ang Naha nga genus is naay Naha philippinensis, Naha samarensis kana siya. So though naa sila yung mga hood, but genetically they are different. So inana po na siya. Okay, so remember that you cannot rule out taxonomy in biodiversity and vice versa. Okay, so these two fields are interweaved as they attempt to understand the relatedness of species, species diversity, and species formation. So dinhi na po dayon mo come in ang phylogeny. Okay, so as a result, conservation is advocated involving different parties, public and private. This is especially significant in our current environmental status where global warming and climate change are driven largely by anthropological studies. Anthropological activities are pushing many species into extinction. So there are people, especially those that are not from the biological sciences, nga moingon sila nga ang taxonomy daw is a dying field. It does not have any what na gamit ba sa ato ang current nga society ang taxonomy. So di na dapat kuno i-offer. Pero they did not just realize that taxonomy and biodiversity experts are the ones that are saving the environment for people, di ba? Including those people who do not believe in the impact of taxonomic studies, di ba? So kung walay mga biodiversity advocates, walay mga taxonomists, walay mga kanang mga conservation studies nga nahitabo, ang kaning ato ang mga lasang siguro is nahimo na ni siyang mga resorts, di ba? But because there are people who advocated or who studied biodiversity and taxonomy, makahimo siya, maka-generate siya og mga kanibitawng mga rules. Okay, so kana siya, so mga makasuggest sila nga i-conserve na ni ang kini nga area because rich ni sa biodiversity based on the research of so and so na ay pila ka species of ants, na ay pila ka species of butterflies, pila ka species of ferns, so on and so forth, di ba? So hinana siya ka significant. So that is why ayaw ninyo kung ana kay uban man god moingon dayon nga arira ko sa cell and molecular biology nga mga studies kay cool kay tan-awon maglabgan-labgaw nya, mag-Eppendorf, mag-pipette, di ba? So kanina siya. But ayaw kamino si ang biodiversity nga studies. Okay? Because we are actually kanang mga biodiversity studies are protecting the environment from extinction, especially nga naay increase in anthropological activities. Mao na nga katong sa una ba si Lolong. Nganong gidakop nila si Lolong katong dako kay nga crocodile. Nganong gidakop nila si Lolong, niingon sila kay ni-encroach kuno sa human settlement. Ang pangutana karon kinsa may nag-una nila sa dito sa kanang Agusan Marsh? Is it si Lolong or ang mga tao? So kung natural habitat na sa mga crocodile ang marshlands, then ang mga tao ni sulo dito, so kinsa ini-encroach? Is it humans or the crocodiles and other nga kuan, di ba? So those are the things nga ato ang makonsider. So The International Union for the Conservation of Nature is one of the leading agencies that catalogs species all over the world and categorizes species based on their ecological status. Okay, so kani siya so IUCN. So depending na siya sa number of population, 'di ba? So ang least concern mao pinaka highest nga kuan, meaning to say least concern, so daghan pa kaayo ni sila nga kanang gitawag nato nga number of individuals sa environment. So say for example, coconut, 'di ba? Ang kanang coconut, kanang lubi. Okay? Nganong dili man kay ta mabalaka kung nailuboy maputol. Because daghan pa man kaayo siya. But when you say naa na dinhi sa endangered or critically endangered or extinct in the wild, kini siya dinhi kaning mga threatened. Kung 200 na lang na kalubi ang nabilin sa kalibutan, then the governments can actually make laws that can protect these coconuts. Kay 200 naman na sila kabuok, di ba? Threatened because kung ma-zero na siya, then that's extinct. What about this extinct in the wild? When you say extinct in the wild, dili na makitaan sa wild, pero naa lang gihapon, pero na siya sa mga nursery, na siya sa mga botanical parts, pero di na nimo makita sa wild. Mao ni gitawag og extinct in the wild. Now, the conservation groups will now attempt nga ipa-increase ang number of individuals so that musaka ilahang status. So from being endangered, kung mudaghan siya, mahimo siyang vulnerable. Hangtod siya is mahimo siyang NT, ang gani NT, near threatened. Okay, near threatened and then least concerned. Okay, so kana siya. So mauna nga sa atoang society, those that are critically endangered, say for example, the Philippine eagle, the buffalo, okay, so they are critically endangered, mauna nga they are protected by laws. Okay, so that's sa research trends. What else? The biomimicry, kini this is a very kaning emerging ni siya nga studies or discipline. So is a field that seeks to understand natural patterns and designs to solve human problems. So, technological innovations mimics how nature works and attempts to address specific issues. This is now termed as biomimetics. Okay, so meaning to say, na ay problem ang society and then pangitaan siya og paagi based on what is being observed in nature. That is biomimetics or biomimicry. Okay, so the one who pioneered this is Janine Benyus. Okay, so bag-ora ni siya siguro in the year 2000 dinha nga portion siya ni emerge. So it has been considered that technologies were based on biomimicry were more sustainable, meaning to say kana nga mga technologies have less energy consumption and then circular and regenerative. Okay, and later on we see some of these innovations. So the concept of biomimicry already found various applications in agriculture, transport, health, communication, construction, energy, and fashion. So below are some of the examples of the results of biomimetics. So tanaw na to, and then you can actually find several other nga mga biomimetics nga mga products. So say for example, shark skin. So features of shark skin anatomy allow these fishes to move quickly in aquatic environments. It lead to the development of swimsuits allowing swimmers to swim faster, which is now banned in competitions, ang kanang shark skin. Okay, so its rough edges may also lead to hospital surfaces that can discourage microbial growth. So ang kanang shark skin mao bitaw na nga kanang ang iyahang kung hikapon man gud ang shark nimo mura siya og rough. Okay, rough ang iyahang skin because of its attempt nga i-discourage niya ang kanang gitawag natong microbial growth. So kung maka-discourage siya microbial growth, so it can be incorporated into our textiles ang iyahang design ba. So it can sa atong textiles, so sa hospitals, particular sa hospital nga daghang kayo og opportunity nga maka-infect, di ba? So kana siya, so sa mga beddings kana siya. What else? So termite dens. So shark skin to siya, and then The natural architecture of termite dens can greatly reduce the energy cost of buildings up to 90% as it eliminates warm air and retains a cooler environment. Ato na makita later on. What else? Bullet train. This is very, this is actually very intriguing, ang bullet train. Diba? So, I think naka-encounter naman sa Facebook or sa YouTube about the development of bullet train. So, ang problema man gud sa una sa Japan is ang kanang ilahang train sa una is grabe kaayo kasaba, especially kung moagi gani og tunnel, okay? Moagi gani og tunnel na ay mausa ang kuan ba? Ang noise bitaw, murag matrap ang noise so that inigawas sa train yun, mura siya og nausa o gawas, mubutog maayo. So, it's actually quite disturbing, especially sa nearby nga mga communities. So, what happened is that naman siya problem, so magpangitaan siya solution. So, it uses the principles of biomimetics. So, mo na nga, ang lead engineer sa mga construction of bullet trains is an avid birder. So, birder siya. So, meaning to say, when you say birder, not really an ornithologist, pero na siya idea sa sa how birds work. So siguro dili gid siya bisag dili ka trained nga ornithologist, as long as you study birds, so manang birder ka. So say for example bird photography ana siya. So that engineer is an avid birder, realized that he can incorporate the anatomy of birds, especially owls and kingfishers, and their almost noiseless movements to his designs. And truly enough, it produced the bullet trains that are faster and quieter. Not quitter ha, that's quieter that we know today. So mo na nga, di ba ang kanang gitawag natong owl, they are actually the silent killers of the forest because you can never hear the flapping of the wings. Wa ka kay balog na anay owl nga lupan nimo because unlike sa other birds nga inig flap nila silang wings is kusog kaayo, madunggan nimo but naay anatomy ang wings sa owls nga di nimo madunggan. Mao na ang katong mga prey sa mga owls, mao na nga wa gyud na sila chance, okay? Wa gyud sila chance against owls. So with the kingfisher, okay? So with the kingfisher, especially ang kanang ilhang beaks. Okay, so what else? Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower is a kanang gitawag, daw wala pa na ma-formalize ang biomimetics, pero it was already been practiced. Okay, so the Eiffel Tower, the iconic Parisian architecture, is made up of weighty steel, meaning to say bugat kaayo nga mga steel. However, it was successfully erected after engineers understood how spongy bones can support massive weights and at the same time absorb stress. So, ang kanang Eiffel Tower, ang iyahang pattern is actually after our bones, di ba? So, si Gustave Eiffel, okay, Eiffel, mao na dinha nako gi-name akong daughter, kay may na lang makaadumig Paris sa ihangalan na lang. So, Eiffel, my daughter's name is Eiffel. So, si Gustave Eiffel is nagproblema siya unsaon niya pag-construct og landmark nga made of steel. Pero kung ikuan niya sa conventional, ang steel is pwede siyang ma-collapse. Kay bugat man kayo ang steel. Okay, so mo to nangita siya design, asa siya mangita nga makasupport siya, structure nga makasupport siya sa bugat kay nga mga steel. Mo to nga dito siya sa bones nakakita o pattern. Okay? What else? Modern jets. The V structure in modern jets was patterned after the behavior of flying birds in V formation. Okay, researchers found out that such shape can reduce pressure drag and can cut energy consumption. So there are still countless other technologies that were inspired by the designs in nature. So other avenues of research is on medicine, science education, and science education curriculum. So here, this is one example of biomimetics. So the B-2 stealth bomber was designed after a falcon. So take a look at this one here, di ba? So naa siya similarity. Okay, so kana siya. So the falcon is the fastest birds in the world in terms of flight. So in the Philippines, we have I think 2 species of falcons in the Philippines. Paspas gikan yung falcons. They are faster than bald eagle, faster than the Philippine eagle, Kung ani mo ang pagdive na nila 200 miles per hour, pwede na niya i-achieve ang kanang sa tawag ng pagdive yun nila, especially when getting their prey. Here, kani siya ang kaning gitawag natong the bullet train. So take a look at the beaks din his sa kaning gitawag natong kingfisher og ang kaning front portion of this bullet train. Okay, so kana siya, so dinha niya nakuha, plus napa na siya design nga maka-reduce pag yun kani siya pang speed, and then ang katong sa owl is ang pang design. Actually, at least ang there are 3 or 4 birds nga gi-incorporate sa katong builder sa or the designer of the bullet trains. Iyang gi-incorporate ng 3 or 4 birds, okay, para mo maka-reduce sa noise at the same time maka-increase sa iyang speed. And true enough, it's very effective. Okay, it's very effective. Okay, what else? Here, the whale fin. Okay, whale fin and the wind turbine blade. Okay, kini siya kaning portion here. That is to reduce the pressure drag. Okay, reduce the pressure drag. Okay, so there are still a lot of things nga pwede nimong mahuna-hunaan dinha sa kaning gitawag na to principle of biomimetics. Okay, so what else? Human evolution and its controversies. So din hinata. Okay, so napoy actually ang kaning gitawag natong evolution is napoy siya sociological implication. So say for example, ang kanang gitawag nila, though I don't want to sound nga political, pero dili na nato malikan because na magoy area nga gitawag og biological anthropology. Okay, biological anthropology. So kana siya, or social anthropology kana siya. So there are those nga katubitawng sa pro homosexuality or pro same sex marriage. So ang ilahang gikuan, ang ilahang support is that it can be found in nature. Okay, it's part of quote unquote evolution. Mao na nga homosexual is a natural thing. That is why same sex marriage should be like legalized. So kana siya mao na ilahang argument. Okay? And then naapoy mga anti homosexuality, moingon po na sila nga okay, so granting natural ang homosexuality, what about kaning gitawag nato og cannibalism? Okay? Is it part of the evolutionary process? Kay makita man siya sa nature. What about kanang gitawag nato og theft? Okay? Ang uban pod, do dili gyud nato makuan sa nature, ang moingon pod, what about pedophilia? Are we going to legalize pedophilia? Because we can argue that it is part of the evolutionary process. So kana siya. So it's actually an interesting social discussion, especially in this process. Okay? So much for that. So when you talk about evolution and its controversies, evolutionists believe that the human body is a machine formed via natural process and not designed, as famously pointed out by René Descartes. So in Darwin's Descent of Man, 1971, he noted that humans occupy a special place in nature and are part of the natural world. He further noted that humans are endowed with godlike intellect, yet their bodies are embedded from its lowly origin. So he refers to humans as having common ancestors with apes. So mao niha nga this is the one of the misconceptions nga maingon ta nga humans come from apes. Okay, so that is actually not accurate. Okay, so ang kuan lang is apes and humans have a common ancestor. Mauna ang sa principles of evolution. Okay, so also in the same book, Darwin envisioned evolved humans to look differently from current humans. So according to Darwin in his Descent of Man nga book, human beings in the future have pointed ears. So it looks different, okay, than what we are right now. So mana, okay? So humanity's place in natural makes them subject to the theory of evolution. Kana. Okay, so do humans still evolve? Kana siya ang question. Do humans still evolve? So modern humans or Homo sapiens were believed to have evolved some 150,000 to 200,000 years ago in Eastern Africa and started to migrate to other parts of the world until 50,000 to 70,000 years ago. Modern views suggest that human evolution has slowed down due to the technological and cultural advancements. starting with the improvements in agriculture that the society achieved, resulting to lesser stress and ultimately lesser genetic impact. Okay, it has been said that the more developed a nation is, okay, so the lesser is its production rate. In one end, less developed countries have higher reproduction rate. Okay, so naputol siya. So those from less developed countries, so say for example Latin Asia and Latin America and Asia, okay, those from to contribute more on humanity's gene pool and would dominate later on in our society. So mao ni ang isa sa ginatan-aw di ay nga, 'di ba, ang isa sa mga common nga problems sa mga third pero first world countries, katong mga advanced nga mga countries, is that they have a very low reproductive rate. So if we can talk about Japan, talk about those from Europe, okay? So ang tendency man good is that ang mga economically advanced and technologically advanced ng mga countries is mas naa sila tendency to go to work, or mas i-prefer nila ang work than making a home kana siya. So mao na nga ang problema karon sa Japan and other several countries in the world is that nagkagagmay ang ilahang population. Okay? So in the next 50 or 100 years, kung magsigig decline ang ilahang population, kinsa may mo salo sa ilahang economy nga dako namang gyud kayo lang economy. Okay? So mao na nga lesser ang ilahang reproductive rate. On the other hand, mga third world countries, paspas kayo ang or taas kayo ang reproductive rate. Maubito na Latin America, Asia, the Philippines itself, mo nang giingon nga overpopulated, India, tingnan India. So the kay population, so meaning to say, ang kaning nga mga third world countries later on will then dominate the genetic pool of the human race. Kay sila man ang paspas og reproductive rate, and then hinahinay na to nga ma-saturate ang katong mga ingon nato mga espiso nga mga dugo sa mga western, di ba, Americans, what else, Europeans, may nahinay siya og ka saturate kay ang manggawas na mga Pinoy, di ba? So mo nang Pinoy highly distributed na, di ba, especially nanay intermarriages between different races, mga Latinos, Mexicans, Colombians kana siya, Indians kana. So makita nato nga masaturate ang katong gitawag natong gene pool, especially kung lower ang ilahang reproductive success. So however, some predicted that variations among humans can still be evident. This would mean that even though genetic activities in humans that cause variation has slowed down, still newer human species can be expected. So mana kung i-project, then there are new siguro 200 or 300,000 years from now or a million years from now, okay, human beings do not look the same way sa atoa karon. I don't know kung unsay mahitabo, depending sa nature kana siya if evolution is correct. Okay, so the evolutionary change in humans are well studied in the field of anthropological biology. So naa po yung anthropological biology. So sa anthropological biology, di ba, especially sa mga monkeys, di ba, na yung mga alpha males and alpha males. So sa mga alpha males, is it evident din sa society nato? Okay, kanang gitawag natog maternal nga society. Are we maternal or are we paternal nga society, patriarchal nga society? Kana siya. So those are actually part of the anthropological biology. So imong i-connect ang those that can be found in nature to that of the behavior of human beings. Okay, so another issue here is racism. Okay, racism. So one of the most controversial aspects in human evolution is its implication on racial segregation or racism that plagued societies for centuries. So di ba, mga issues karon sa mga racism. Okay, say for example katong Black Lives Matter, di ba? So that's a racism nga issue. What else? Katong mga Pinay nga mga Filipinos and other Asians nga pangbunogon sa mga subways sa US, di ba? Kana siya. So that's actually racism. So is there a scientific basis of racism? Yes, there is. So mao na siya nga it's one of the most controversial nga aspects in human evolution. So say for example, Western countries, European, North American, viewed non-Caucasians as the lesser classification of humans and were consistently regarded as evolutionary links between apes and humans. And later on, ato pa ning ma-emphasize og maayo. Such racial segregation led to the establishments of human zoos where non-Caucasians were displayed, some were even caged, similar to other animals. And you cannot deny, especially sa sa 19th and early parts of 20th century, okay, you cannot deny that it really happened. Okay, where in fact, there are those Filipinos nga gikuha, especially katong gikan sa Igorot, mga Igorot, and then other mga native nga mga Filipinos together with other natives from different countries in the world, particularly in Asia, Africa, and South America, nga gikuha na sila, okay, and then ni-establish og human zoos, okay, ZOO, okay, so human zoo, kanang sa zoo ang mga animals. So gitapok dito because people during that time believed that this group of people, mga non-Caucasians, are part of the evolutionary lineage of modern humans, because during that time they believed that the Caucasians are the ultimate form of human beings. So kita siguro maguro Caucasian nato, ilong palang daan, Pinoy kaayo, di ba? So if we live during this time, we are regarded as the lowest form of humanity, kay kita daw ang ladder nata sa isa sa mga ladder sa modern humans. So mao na nga this racial segregation were considered science. Mao na ilang gi-invoke ang science of evolution. Now, take note that this happened after Charles Darwin, mga a few decades after Charles Darwin presented the theory of evolution. Okay? So kana siya. And particularly from Ernst Haeckel. So when scholars applied the principles, okay, again, this racial segregation were considered science when scholars applied the principles of human evolution, particularly from Ernst Haeckel, one of the first to embrace the Darwinian view of evolution. So Ernst Haeckel is actually one of the first to emphasize nga humans na ay evolutionary event that's happening in humans. Kana siya. So naaga ni uban nga mga critics sa kanibitawong or kaning those who studies racism, the history of racism. There are those who credited Charles Darwin as the father of racism. Okay? Because katong sa iyahang ko, the descent of men or the continuous struggle for favored races, di ba? Katong sa natural selection niya, mao to nga makita nato nga na ay racist nga component. Actually na ay racist nga component ang kang Charles Darwin nga principle. So even in modern times there are still cases of racism across the globe. So take a look at this one here. This is an image of a human zoo. Okay, so human zoos were once popular as it features different races or non-Caucasians, either to be missing links between apes and men or a totally different human species. So some Filipinos were included in these exploits, particularly the Igorot. So, kung mention ganiha. So take a look at this one here. Poor African girl. Okay, so gi-cage siya. Okay, and then gikuha ni siya from Africa, gi-cage siya, and then subjected to I don't know, I don't have any words to describe. Okay, nga murag animal. Okay, that's human zoo. Here, this is now the Igorot nga a group of Filipinos in a human zoo. So makita nato nga they were actually caged in groups. Okay, and people are actually paying to see them. Okay, where in fact kung tan-aw nimo, I encourage you to watch documentaries about human zoos. Okay, there are instances nga ang kaning mga Caucasians nga magdala na sila og stick, and then ilahang tuslok-tuslokon ang kaning mga tao nga naa dinhi kung mura ba yung gorilla or dili kana siya. So kini siya. Okay, so mao ni kang Ernst Haeckel. Okay, so kang Darwin is naalay tidbits of racism, but Ernst Haeckel make it scientific. Okay, so this is coming from kaning iyahang book. Okay, so take a look at this one. This is now, ang number 1 is the Caucasian. Okay, now if you are going to take a look at this one, from 1 to 6 mao ni ang sa human race. Okay, 7 to 12, these are now the apes and monkeys. Now if you are going according to Haeckel, maon siya ang progress from 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So these Caucasians are the kanibitawng pinaka-peak sa human race. Okay? Now, if you happen to compare 6 and 7, okay, kaning mga kaning mga black people, mga African, ang 6 is closer to 7 apes than 6 to 1. 'Di ba? So, according to Ernst Haeckel, Africans are closer to apes than they are to humans. Okay? So that is actually racism. Okay, so that is scientific racism, and that's according to Ernst Haeckel. And take note that Ernst Haeckel is the first to embrace the theory of evolution by Charles Darwin. Okay, so such works became the basis of rampant racism, including Hitler's Nazi Germany. Diba? Katong kang Hitler, he wanted to eradicate, nganong obsessed kay si Hitler nga to go into war because he wanted to eradicate the inferior human races. If you are not German, okay, if you are not part of that group, then you have to be eliminated because Hitler was so obsessed in making superhumans. Okay, so kana eugenics man gitawag natong eugenics. So other controversial application of evolution to human is the issue on eugenics. So eugenics is a process where humans deliberately choose specific characters and eliminate the unwanted ones. Okay? So mao ni ang kanang quote-unquote the science of eugenics. This is now the principle used by Hitler. Okay? So eugenics literally means good creation, was pioneered by Francis Galton, which happened to be Darwin's cousin, to procreate the Darwinian evolution among humans. Okay, so according to Dalton, humans can breed humans with better traits similar to breeding animals. Say, for example, dogs and chickens. Thus, eugenics is a form of artificial selection aimed to improve humans. Okay, so kana siya. So, di ba, kung sa dogs especially katong mga breeders sa dog, so kung gusto na nimo ma-retain ang high quality sa mga dogs, then kini nga breed dapat parisan na siya sa the same nga breed. So say for example, ang German Shepherd, di ba? So German Shepherd ang yun. Kay kung ang German Shepherd imuhang ipamate sa Askal, okay? Ipamate nimo sa Askal or sa kaning Pinoy, asong Pinoy Aspen. Okay? So mao na nga mulow ang iyang quality. Okay? So mao na siya ang eugenics. Okay? So di na po siguro kayo na makita karon kay daghan namang Pinoy nga nakaparis og foreigner, di ba? Kay ingon pa nila nga nindot ko no minyuan ang Pinoy. Okay. Kana. No further comment. Okay, so eugenics is a form of artificial selection aimed to improve humans. So the most controversial point in eugenics is when it was applied, especially during the times of Adolf Hitler in the 1930s. So Hitler wrote the book Mein Kampf, or My Struggle, where he stipulated the importance of better humans. So ako nang gi-mention ganiha. He created laws that would exterminate defective humans, both Germans and non-Germans. So di lang kay kuan ay. Okay? So katong mga Germans nga naay physical deformities, mao to nga unfortunately gi-exterminate niya. Okay, what else? Ang katong mga non-Germans gi-exterminate niya kay mao na nga he believed kana obsessed siya nga ang Germans ra gyud ang superior nga race. Pero in fairness sa karon nga mga Germans, dili na hinana siya. Okay, that was just the Hitler's obsession to create superhumans. So at some point, the principles of eugenics had inspired progressive and leftist movements across the world, including the United States. Okay, so similar to European versions, eugenics became a science in other parts of the world where mass sterilization of defective humans were conducted. Okay, so the advances in the medical sciences weakened the credibility of eugenics after World War II. However, the emergence of social issues like abortion, what else, has indicated a potential return of eugenics in our modern world, which sparked the controversial debates about its science and ethical implications. So kana pod ang mukam inang ethical nga discussion. So say for example, a pregnant woman, okay, pag ultrasound karon nakita niya nga iyang baby na ay physical deformity. So ang pangutana karon, are you going to abort the baby or let it live, and then mo na nga na ay consequences nga dili yun hinana ka normal ang iyang kinabuhi kay naa siya physical deformity. Okay, so ang pangutana karon, are you for that abortion, for that kind of abortion, di ba? So that's a serious ethical discussion kay mingaw nga kanang gitawag nato nga dapat lagi nga nindot ang ato ang race, di ba? Artificial selection. So, hence the question is exterminating the weaker members of human population still part of evolution? Okay? So it can become crucial in the coming years. So how we view evolution and how it drives humanity, okay, and how we discuss the implication of evolution can have a serious implication in the future. Okay, mauna nga kita nga nasa biological sciences dapat guided yun tag maayo sa ato ang mga philosophies nga nasa tong hunahuna. Okay, because it can change how we humans perceive the community, and not just the community but also the environment, diba? So kana siya. So here, this is a poster of a eugenics. So only healthy seeds must be sown. Check the seeds of hereditary diseases and unfitness by eugenics. So eugenics poster encouraging the elimination undesirable human traits. So say for example kanang naay mental retardation, are you going to kung makita na nimo nga or kanang sa mga newborn screening, di ba, makita pa man mailhan naman na siya kung naabay mental retardation or naabay kuan. So are you going to abort or exterminate those weaker nga mga members of the society? Kana siya katong nay mga physical deformities, katong mga cleft palate or cleft lip, kana siya. So na. Okay, so those are actually some of the things. So medical natay katong mga research, however naapod siya sociological nga application. So mo na nga very crucial na karon actually if you are just into kaning mga current events, especially sa social nga mga issues. So naa siya moingon nga it's part of evolution, di ba? Makadungog man ta ana nga mga sentences or mga statements sa katong mga pro-abortion. Okay, so my body my choice, kana siya. What else? Sa katong mga homosexuality, so part is evolutionary process. And then moingon na pud ning uban nga so scaling humans, kaning war daw kay makita mo yun na ay war ang natural world, especially between different populations. Say for example gorillas, di ba, mag-away man sila, mga lions, one pride to the other, mag-away, there's war. So kining bang war nga na-experience nato karon sa Ukraine and Russia, pasagdan ba na to because it's part of the evolutionary process, di ba? So those are some of the things that we have to consider. Okay, so mao na nga dapat ato i-balance ang kini nga mga butang when we decide on such things. Okay, so I guess maora to siya kay ni end naman. So I hope that mo ana nga ni end atong semester dali ra kay no. So I hope that you have learned something. So again, I will encourage you to widen your horizon. Do not just stop learning dinhi sa ato ang i-open as classroom, sa ato ang YouTube, sa atong Facebook, sa classroom. No, you have to widen your horizon because that can change your perspective on the world nga to ang gipuy-an. Okay, so before I end this lecture, I am very much honored to be your instructor for this course. So I wish you all the best in life, especially sa inyong academics, and I will be very happy to see you successful in whatever endeavors you will have in your life. So be it mo adto mo sa medicine or adto mo sa academe, mag-researcher mo, okay? What else? Mag-businessman mo, or magnegosyo mo, I will be very happy to see you successful and happy sa inyong life that you choose. Okay? So, kana siya. So, again, I am very much honored to be your instructor for this course. So, this is Edward Opena. Thank you very much for listening and for staying and being patient with me in this semester. And I hope to see you someday. Bye-bye and God bless us all.